Hello, year six. Hope all of you are doing so well. And this video, we're going to have a look at some concepts that are going to help you with the checkpoint exam preparation. And the first topic that we're going to have a look at here is finding a missing number in addition and subtraction. The first two questions here, as you see, are answered for you because actually we're not just going to learn about how to subtract 42 minus 23 or 35 plus 21. This is not what we're actually going to do today. You took this in like year two. And this doesn't mean that it's unexpected to come to you in the checkpoint exam. Well, actually, it might come because the checkpoint exam checks your understanding about most of the topics that you took in the primary years. Now, 42 minus 23, you can just simply do it by putting both of them above each other, and then you subtract, it gives you 19. That's if you cannot do it mentally. 35 plus 21, if you cannot do it mentally, of course, you can just also put them above each other and add them up to give you 56. But what if the missing number is not actually this result? The missing number is on the other side of the equal sign. The missing number is on the other side of the equal sign, like here, question 1, 2, 3, and 4. All the four questions here have the missing numbers on the other side of the equal sign. The first question, I put it in this way on purpose because most of you are used to it this way, but it's actually the same. It's exactly the same. 8 equals 21 minus what is the same exactly as 21 minus what equals 8. All right, so having this on the right side or the left side doesn't actually change the answer or change the way you answer the question. All right, what's the technique to answer or to find the missing numbers in addition or subtraction? Just this rule will make it very easy and simple for you. In all cases, if the missing number is on the other side of the equal sign, in all cases, we subtract big minus small. You just need to determine which number is the big and which number is the smaller number, and then you subtract both of them, big minus small, except only in one case. If the first number in subtraction is missing, then now we need to add. Again, I'm going to repeat this again. In all cases, you're going to subtract, like here, you're going to subtract big minus small. Big minus small. Big minus small. But here, just only because it's the first number that is missing in here, in subtraction, then we have to add. All right, let's do the four questions together very quickly. The first question here says 21 minus what equals 8. We agreed. This is not the first number in subtraction that is missing. Actually, it's the second number in subtraction that is missing. So we're going to subtract. Big minus small is 21 minus 8. Mentally, you will know that, yes, it is 13. So 21 minus 8 is 13. If you don't know how to do it mentally, then you just do it the other way, the traditional way, which is just putting them above each other. 21 minus 8 will give you 13. Just 1 minus 8 is, we cannot do it actually. Then we're going to borrow from the 2. The 2 here will be 1, and the 1 will be 11. Then 11 minus 83 and 1, just bring it down there, is 13. Okay, the second question that we have here, well, yeah, if you can remember, we agreed if it is the first number in subtraction that is missing, we just add the other two numbers. Is it going to be, Mr. Ahmed, is it going to be 9.4 plus 1.2 or 1.2 plus 9.4? Well, actually, it doesn't make any difference. Exactly like 3 plus 2 is 5, 2 plus 3 is 5. So the order is not going to change anything. Mentally, you will find that it is 10.6. If you want to do it the traditional way, no problem. You're going to find that it is exactly 10.6 this way. Well, there is one thing that you need to remember. If you are going to deal with decimals, if one of the numbers that you're going to add or subtract has a decimal in it, you must line up the decimal points before anything. You see here? Point, point, point. Just before even you write the numbers. Then you start writing the numbers. 9 is before the point, then 4. So it's 9.4 plus 1.2 gives you exactly the point is down there, the same line. After we add, it's going to be here 6. 9 plus 1 is 10, 10.6. Please, it's very, very important that you line up the decimal points and you do it neatly and in an organized way. All right, question number 3. 40 equals 35 plus what? Is exactly the same as 35 plus what equals 40. So do not let this confuse you. All right. We agreed only in the first number in a subtraction we're going to add, but here it's not the first number in subtraction. It's not even subtraction. So we're just going to subtract big minus small. Which one is the bigger number? 35 or 40? Exactly, it's 40. So 40 minus 35 gives us 5. Just mentally, I don't think that we will need the traditional way, but anyway, here it is. 40 minus 35 will just give you 5. All right, in question number 4, and this question here is very important. What plus 5.2 equals 10? Oh, I remember that Mr. Ahmed said, if the first number is missing, we're going to add. Well, you remember just part of what Mr. Ahmed said. What Mr. Ahmed said is that you add if the first number is missing in subtraction. But here this is addition, so we just subtract. Big minus small. One of you might think, oh, 5.2 is bigger. No way. It's 10 that is bigger. This is not 52. This is 5 and a piece. So it's 5.2. All right, so 10 minus 5.2. This is the first step. If you write the answer this way, to answer this question, 10 minus 5.2, if you can do it mentally, great, congratulations. If you can't do it mentally, then you will have to do it the traditional way, which is putting them above each other this way. Are you going to put them above each other this way? Well, 10 minus 5.2. Here it is, Mr. Ahmed. I put them above each other, but at the end, you're going to be shocked that the answer is wrong. Why is it going to be wrong? It's going to be wrong because you didn't do what we agreed on. We agreed here that if you have one of the numbers, even if it's just one of the numbers in addition or subtraction, has a decimal point in it, line up the decimal points. Line up the decimal points. Oh, then one of you might just say, okay, no problem, this is a very small mistake. I'm just going to put the decimal point in here. Oh, actually, you've just changed the question. Did you notice that you've changed the question? It's 10 minus 5.2, but what you've done is 1.0, which is just 1, minus 5.2. So this is still going to be wrong. Oh, so what am I supposed to do, Mr. Ahmed? If you remember, we said in class that any whole number in the world, whole number means that it doesn't have a fraction or a decimal, like 10 here. Any whole number in the world as a decimal is that number 0.0. So 10 as a decimal is just 10.0. Now you need to line up the decimal points as if 10 is just 10.0. This way exactly. Let's have a look at this. The first step is lining up the decimal points, even if one of the numbers doesn't have a decimal point. So point, point, point above each other. Now we're going to write the numbers. We need big minus small, 10 minus 5.2. 10, we agree, is going to be 10.0, not 1.0, not 0.10. It's 10.0. Then you write the second number is going to be 5.2. Putting the digits above each other, the right places, the ones under the ones, the tenth under the tenths, all right? Then you start subtracting. Please, it happens. I know that you're in year 6 and that you might laugh when I say this, but many of you, because of lack of concentration, just think that 0 minus 2 is 2. Well, you cannot take from nothing 2. You cannot take from the 0 2. So it's that we're going to borrow from the 1, it becomes 0. This 0 actually becomes 10. But we're going to take away from it 1, it becomes 9. For this 0 to become 10, minus 2 is 8, 9 minus 5 is 4, and then just it's 0, so it's 4.8. The next part of the lesson here is just multiplication. Okay, 6 multiplied by 2 is, this is what we do. Ignore the second number that we have here. Just ignore it as if you don't have it. So it's as if it's 312 multiplied by just 6. As if it's just 6. Then you start multiplying. 6 by 2 is 12. 2, and then we carry up. We're not going to write 12. We're going to write 2, and we carry up the 1. Then 6 multiplied by 1. Which is going to give you 6. Then you add 1 to it, which is going to make it 7. Some of you guys make a mistake here and they say 6 multiplied by 2 is 12. They add first, so they say 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 multiplied by 6 is 12. Wrong. You multiply, then you add. 6 multiplied by 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7, like what we did here. Then the last digit, 6 multiplied by 3, is just 18. There is nothing to carry up on, then we have to write the whole number, 18. All right. Now we're done with the 6. Are we done with the whole with the question? No, we're not done with the question. The same thing that we've done here with the 6 must be done to the 5. So you're going to multiply the 5 by 2, ignoring that this is a 6. But actually, the 5 here is 5 tens, so we must always put here a 0. We always, before starting answering the second digit here, multiplying the second digit, we always need to put here a 0. So you put a 0, then you start multiplying. 5 times 2 is 10, 0, and we carry up. Here is a 0, then we carry up the 1. Then 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is just 6. Then 5 times 3 exactly is 15. Then you put the whole number 15 because there is nothing to carry up on. After we finished multiplying the 6 and the 5, and we put here the 0, we didn't forget it, you just add both of them up. 2 plus 0 is just 2. 7 plus 0 is 7. And then 8 plus 6 is actually 14. We're going to write down the 4 and add the 1. And put the 1 up here. 1 plus 1 is 2. Sorry. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. Then the 1, there is nothing to add to the 1 here. So it's just 1 is left. So the final answer is 17,472. Okay, Mr. Ahmed, what if I have the same question exactly? 312 multiplied by, not 56, it's 5.6. No problem at all. Just try the question the same way exactly. 312 multiplied by 5.6 this way. But now we're going to do one more step, which is ignoring the decimal point. as if, deal with the question as if you don't have any decimal points in the question, as if it's 312 multiplied by 56, exactly the same way as this, exactly the same way as the first question. Do everything the same. If we just reveal here our secret, so you're gonna find that all the answers are just the same. Look at this. Yeah, 2781, 2781, 00651, 00651. And the answer here, we're just going to add. Everything is the same. Ignore the decimal point in multiplying decimals. Look here. All the numbers 17472, 17472 is the same. But the only change is that at the end, after you add, you check how many digits do you have in the answer, in the question after the decimal point. Well, I have only one digit after the decimal point. Only one digit is after the decimal point. This is before, this is after the decimal. So we take it from left to right. So it's after the decimal point. We have only one digit in the whole question. So I need in the answer only one digit to be after the decimal point. So the answer of 312 multiplied by 5.6 is exactly 1747.2. All right. Here, the third question, exactly the same number, 312 multiplied by 56, but it's actually 3.12 or 3.12 hundredths, 3 and 12 hundredths multiplied by 5 and 6 tenths. Here what we do is that we multiply also normally as if there is nothing, as if there are no decimal points at all. Is going to give you the same answer that he gave you here and there. You multiply the 6 by 312, then you put here the 0, and you multiply 5 by 312, as if there are no decimal points at all. The final answer is going to be exactly the same, 17472, 17472, but the decimal point here, we need to remember it at the end after we add. After you multiplied and after you ignored the decimal point and after you added, you need to go back to the decimal point. How many digits do you have there after the decimal points? How many digits do you have there? Exactly, you have 1, 2, 3 digits after the decimal points. And remember, I said not after one of the decimal points. No, it's after both the decimal points, both of them. I have 1, 2, 3 digits after the decimal points. Then I need 3 digits also here after the decimal point. Then it's 17 and 472,000, or 17.472. Okay, the next part here of the lesson is long division. If you remember what we took in class, we just said that the first step is that you divide, then you multiply, then you subtract and bring down. Here in the first question we have 312. We need to divide it by 4. To do this, we need to take it digit by digit. 3 divided by 4. What is 3 divided by 4? Well, if this, which is the dividend, is smaller than the divisor, which is the 4 here, if it's smaller, then the answer is definitely just a 0. Okay, so 4 goes into 3 just 0 times. 4 can't go into 3. Okay, so 3 divided by 4, we can't. We're gonna take 2 digits together. 31 divided by 4. If you know your times tables very well, we need now to go down. 31 divided by 4, mister, there is no 31 in the 4 times table. 31 is not a multiple of 4. Well, no problem. That means that we need to go down until we reach a number that is in the 4 times table. Okay, if I go down, 30 is not there, 29 is not there, 28, then I'm going to choose here. 28 divided by 4 is, if you know the times tables, 7. If you don't know your times tables, I'm sorry, I cannot help you with this, and no one will ever be able to help you with this. You need to know your times tables very well, very well. Well, now we divide it. 31 divided by 4, we found that it's the close number is 28. Divided by 4 is just 7. Then after we divide, we multiply. 7 multiplied by 4 is going to give you 28, exactly. Then you start subtracting. Here, 1 minus 8, we can't. Then we will have to borrow from the 3. The 1 will be just 11, and the 3 will be 2. Then 11 minus 8 is going to give us 3. Where is the 3? Trying to look for it here. Here we go. All right, here's the 3. 11 minus 8 is just 3. And then we have the 3 became 2 minus 2 is just going to give us 0. After you subtract it, just bring down. Here is the next step. After we subtract, we bring down. You bring down the 2 and put it down here. Then now it's 32 divided by, once you bring down, you go back to division. So 32 divided by 4 is, using the times tables, you're going to find that 32 divided by 4 is just 8. 8 multiplied by 4 is 32. Then once you subtract, you're going to find that they are just zeros. Now we're finished, and we know now that 312 divided by 4 is just 78. Okay, what if I have the same question exactly, Mr. Rahman, 312, but actually it's not 312 divided by 4, it's 3.12, or it's just a 3 and 12 hundredths. We just say 3, the same steps exactly that you did here, the first question, you do the same steps exactly, but after you put the decimal point up. Don't forget, this is the first step. You must put the decimal point up exactly in the same place as if you were using a ruler. Exactly go up the same place and put it there. Then you start, everything is the same. Everything is going to be the same. Follow the steps. Now ignore the decimal point. After you put it up, just ignore it. You're going to find all your answers adjusted the same. Exactly everything is the same, but actually the final answer here changed. Here was 0.78, here is also 0.78, but there is a point, so it's 78 hundredths, which is just 0.78. All right, the last question here is the same exactly like the first question and the second question. You're going to follow the same steps, but after you put the decimal point up. So here, all the numbers are the same, but the final answer just changes to become 7.8. Okay, great. Here, if we have multiplication, now we're done with long division and dividing a whole number by a whole number and dividing decimals as well. All right, if we have here multiplication, but by tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. Here is the rule. It says to you, if you multiply any number by 10, 100, or 1,000, and so on, put all the last zeros down, then multiply the rest. Which means, I have here 2 zeros, I have here 1 0, well, just put the 3 zeros down there. All right, so I'm going to have 3 zeros there, then forget about the zeros. 804 times 1 is just 804. So it's 804 3 zeros, which is 804 what? Exactly, it's 804,000. Okay, again, we just put the 3 zeros there, And 804 times 1 is just 804. Okay. What if I'm not multiplying a whole number by 10, 100, 1,000, and so on, if I'm multiplying a decimal by a 10 or 100 or 1,000? No problem at all. Here it continues here and says, if there is a decimal, we move the decimal point to the right as many zeros as you have. What does that mean? You have here a decimal point, right? Yes. And you want to multiply by a 10 or 100, 1,000, 10,000, so on? Yes. Then just move the decimal point as many zeros as you have. So here I have 2 zeros. Then just move the decimal point to the right 2 digits, 2 places. So I'm going to take it here, this way. Just to the point. Just a second. I'm going to take the point 1 digit from here. It becomes actually after the 0, but I have 2 zeros in the 100. I have here 2 zeros. Then I need to move it 2 digits. So this is 1 digit after the 0. No, the second digit becomes after the 4. So it's 804.0. But actually 804.0 is the same as just 800. Okay, the same thing exactly here with the third question. 80.4 multiplied by 100. The same way exactly. I have 2 zeros. It's multiplication. Then you must move the decimal point to the right. How many times? 2 times, which means 2 digits to the right. Oh, Mr. 2 digits here. I have only 1. So am I going to put it here after the 4? No way. It says here 2 zeros. Then you move it 2 digits to the right. All right, no problem. Then I'm going to move it here 2 digits to the right. I'm going to put it over here. But what about this empty place? You just put a 0 in it. 0. So the answer actually, you move the decimal point from here to there, 2 digits. 1 digit is the 4. I need another digit in there, which is the 0. So it becomes 8040. If you write 8040.0, no problem at all. It's the same exactly. All right. The last question here, we're multiplying it by a 10, which has only 1 0. Then we need to move the decimal point only 1 time. You move the decimal point only once to the right because it's multiplication, don't forget. Then it becomes 12.4. That's it. With multiplying, now we're done with multiplying the powers of 10 by a whole number or a decimal. Okay, if it's division, what are we going to do then? Let's have a look at this. Here you want to divide 1040 by 100. What are we going to do? Well, in division, you do the opposite exactly. In multiplication, we used to move to the right as many zeros as we had. But here, in division, you take the decimal point to the left. Oh, but Mr. Ahmed, here I don't have any decimals. Do you remember when we said that any whole number in the world that doesn't have actually a decimal in front of you actually has a decimal, but it's invisible? 8040 is actually 8040.0. So as if there is a point here at the end of the number, as if this is 8040 point, there is a point here at the end of the number. So moving it, how many times? 1, 2, to the right, to the left. Moving here, this 2 times to the left, we'll put the point between 80 and 40, between the 0 and the 4. So the final answer is going to be just 80.40, which is the same as 80.4. One of you might say, oh, Mr. Ahmed, I can just take away the 0 with the 0, so it's going to be 804 divided by 10. No problem. This is another option that you have here. 804 divided by 10. But here now we need to continue. Oh, I have 1 0. I need to move the decimal point once to the left. So it's 804 point. So I just move the point to the left once, it becomes 80.4, which is the same exactly, 80.4, 80.4. Both ways are just correct. Here, before we move to the next question, there are two questions here that we need also answer. One of them, one of the answers was revealed here by mistake. 4,200 divided by 200. How can we answer this question? Is just simply ignore here this decimal, this zero in division only. Bye to this zero with this one here, and then I have another zero. Just bye to this zero as well with the other zero here. So it's just 42 divided by 2, which is 21. The same thing exactly here. Bye to this zero. That happens only in division. With this zero, so it's just 320 divided by 1, which is just 320. Okay, the next question, 8.04 divided by 100. If you want to divide 8.04 by 100, we need to move the decimal point how many times? Exactly, 2 times, because I have here 2 zeros. So you need to move it 2 times, to the right or the left? Multiplication to the right. Division, you move it to the left. So move it twice to the left. 1 digit, it means twice means 2 digits. So this is 1 digit, it becomes before the 8. You need another digit to make it here, to put the decimal point here exactly. That's the new place of the decimal point. You moved 1 digit, I need another digit because we need to move 2 digits. So the other digit is going to be exactly just 0. So it's 0.0804. Here it is, 0.0804. The last question that we have here, we need to move the decimal point twice to the left, yes, because it's division and because we have here 100. So we just move it 2 times, which is 2 digits. So here is the 0, 1 digit, so the 8 is the second digit. So now I moved 2 digits to the left, which makes it 0.804, which is the same as 0.804.